Hello and welcome back, everybody. We are live once again to discuss all things YouTube. Today, we're going to be talking about remixing videos. We're going to get into what that means. We're going to get into the benefits of it, when you should and shouldn't use it. But as always, we also have a little bit of a YouTube news story to chat about first, and then we'll get into the meat and potatoes. But before we do, let's welcome in Travis. How's it going?
Hey, yo,
Hey, how's it going?
I
You didn't
brought
answer
my
the question.
DJ turntables because you said we were remixing. I'm excited.
Yes. We did talk about this tool already, but we want to dive a little bit deeper and give you an opportunity to ask questions about it. But there's always some cool stuff happening on YouTube. It's been a bit
Mm,
slow, but somebody in our Discord showed us something. We wanted to share it with you guys, get your thoughts, and share our thoughts as well. So let me bring up my screen real quick. So somebody was in the vidIQ Discord. Shout out vidIQ Discord, link down below, and
mhm.
they shared with us this screenshot. Have you noticed the floating likes on YouTube Shorts? So, for those of you who watch YouTube Shorts, you may have this pushed out to you. I have it on my phone. You can click on the Shorts icon at the bottom. You can start watching, and you'll notice that the like button will start looking animated, as if people in real time are like clicking the like button because this short is just so freaking good. Um, Travis, have you seen this on your phone yet?
Not yet. I don't really watch a lot of shorts, but I will say this is unsurprising because YouTube's constantly trying to get people to be more involved and more interactive and stuff with all of the formats. So this is great. This is a net positive for anyone, especially if you're a shorts creator, to get people to hit like. And of course, like is not a bad thing for your video performance. So love this.
It's, pretty I would say pretty awesome in the sense that, like, if you get likes, it helps share things, spread them around, and, it's like that reminder, like, "This is over here," and you don't have time in a short to be sitting there asking for, "Hey, subscribe," like, all that stuff. Um, I guess what I think is a bit silly about it is what if this, increases likes by, like, 1,000,000,000%? What if
Mm.
everyone's hitting like on every short? Does that do anything then?
Well, I mean, maybe. I think at this point, like anything that's helpful or not detrimental is helpful. I think is the way we look at these type of things, and I don't see how this could be detrimental at all. It reminds people you can hit likes on shorts, which I think my guess is people are not even. I mean, first of all, it's you don't get a lot of likes on long form content when you have a lot of you. Like it's just something you don't think too much about unless you ask for it. In this particular case, my guess is shorts don't get as many because like some shorts are very short and you're not even thinking about hitting thumbs up. You're just like, oh, that was cool, and you hit thumbs up and it's too late. The next video is already up.
Yeah.
So not a bad thing.
Yeah, no, definitely not a bad thing at all. I do. We were kind of asking ourselves a question before we went live. Is this happening in real time? Like when someone hits the like in real life, is that lighting up the button? But the short in the photo here has 5 likes. It's very unlikely that this animation was tracking in like real life with people hitting it. The one thing we think might be going on is it's with the timestamp of the video. So let's say a person hit like 4 seconds in, that could be where the little animation pops off, perhaps. So it could track in a way like, you know, similar to what am I trying to say? There could be some reality to it, is what I'm trying to say. But overall, let us know what you guys think of this. It's just this was our quick news story of the day. It seems like something YouTube's testing. I don't know if it's fully rolled out and permanent. I don't know if YouTube's just trying to see how people interact with it. The like button, shorts don't have like a lot of metrics to track when compared to long form videos. So I think likes for shorts are important, and it's not a bad thing, I guess, if YouTube's like trying to say, hey, like we'll do it for you. We'll let you know that this is here.
Yeah.
So
We'll see what happens over time. I don't think it's I think it's a good thing. The fact that they haven't really mentioned it in anything, they probably will in a future update, like on the YouTube channel. They're probably just rolling out a couple places. But not a huge deal, but good. It's always positive, especially if they if they're floating the thumbs up and not the thumbs down. Imagine that.
if what if the video gets enough thumbs down to where it swaps over?
Oof, oofta. Yeah, you don't want that. You don't want that smoke.
Oh man. So that is our quick news story of the day. YouTube's it's a slow news day right now. I do feel like that always means there's probably something a bit larger on the horizon. So we'll always keep you updated. We love to do at the beginning of these streams a bit of news. But let's get into the main topic for today. Today we are once again discussing the Remix tool, which is a tool we made for helping you do research and come up with better ideas. So I have an example video on this page that I want to point to, but just so you know, when you're on YouTube, when you're out and about and you have the vidIQ tools installed, links down below if you want to try them for free. You're going to get stuff like this real-time stats bar showing us like we have 5.5K views an hour, how many subscribers we have, all that stuff. You can kind of customize it with different things you want to see pop up. And you're also going to see like the views per hour underneath videos and how they're doing. And if a video is an outlier, like for Markiplier, this is a 2.2x outlier. So this video is doing better than normal lately on Markiplier's channel. These are all great tools for research and understanding, what's working for creators, what's not, and maybe it can kind of point you in a direction as well. But the remix button, as you've been seeing, will pop up underneath this content when you put your mouse over it. Shall we click it?
We shall click before it blows up the YouTubes.
Yes.
We must
So
click.
we click it, and this will pop up. And the way this works, you're gonna see, like, Super Mario Bros. What's going on there? Well, the last time we showed this off, we changed our preferences to pretend like we were a channel that did speed running of Super Mario.
Hmm.
You may not be a video editor, so what do you care about 6 pro tips that'll help video editing happen faster? That's not a concern to you, but maybe you like the title. Maybe the video is popping off. Maybe you're like, "Man, I wish I could think of something like that for my channel." And that's where this tool comes in because it caters the ideas to your preferences and your channel. So in this case, we kind of push our channel aside when we changed our preferences. And now we have 6 pro tips that'll help you beat Mario faster. So basically a tutorial on Super Mario speedrunning, 7 expert tricks to master World 1-1. Super Mario Bros. Speedrunning 2024. I personally, Travis, what do you feel about these titles? I don't know if I would go with these verbatim myself.
So yeah, 6 pro tips help you beat Mario faster. I mean, it's not necessarily a bad idea if the video is really about that. Like, I think the thing is, these are great ways to get you started, especially if you are doing these things. And sometimes they might even be a good idea for like, maybe I should do a video about this, but you can't like shoehorn this in that into a video that has nothing to do with the title. Like, this is a great tool to use when you are getting stuck on titles. You just can't figure out a good title, and then you find a video that did well and you're like, that title's good, help make it work for me. That's great. But if you don't have the video to back it up, then none of this means anything. So make sure you have a video to back it up, and this will be a great powerful tool. Kind of the same way with like a really great thumbnail, but if the thumbnail doesn't have anything to do with the video, it's kind of pointless.
Yeah, it's absolutely. Let's see. There's probably some other examples we can give if we change the preferences here. So I clicked on preferences. You can put in, any topic you want. So what are some other topics, Travis, that would work? It's a title that's basically like 6 tips to do something faster. So what are some other topics? A channel we could pretend to be right now.
I mean, you know what I'm going to say. I always say the same thing over and over again. Should I say it?
Yeah, say it.
A chocolate cake channel. We talk about these chocolate cakes. A baking channel of some sort.
Chocolate cake. So if I add that,
Mm-hmm.
we have baking.
Mm-hmm.
What other words kind of work here? Cake recipes. It kind of starts recommending them. Baking delights doesn't seem like something. Let's see. Baked goods. I don't know.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Sweet treats. Okay, so we're
That's
kind of
good enough.
telling this tool that, like, hey, I'm a channel that bakes chocolate cake, things like that. I'm a baking channel. Save. Now it's going to regenerate the ideas. 6 pro tips will help you bake perfect cakes and faster. I don't know if speed is relevant here, but
Yeah, you might not, well, listen, I want them cakes. I want them
the
now.
the thing I would advise if you're using this tool and you notice it's giving you the pipe in the middle and two titles basically, personally, and this depends on your audience, maybe you're already using this format, but personally, I wouldn't be using the second half of this. I would just take 6 pro tips that'll help you bake perfect cakes. I think
Mm,
that's like a solid title just on its own, nice and easy to read. The only reason we're getting the extra half here is because we are basing this off of somebody else's video,
right,
and this is a search term that they wanted to include
right.
in the video. This is Leela's awesome, very successful channel.
Yeah.
So, this works for Leela and her audience. For us, we're thinking if we did this video, we'd probably stop right here.
Yeah.
Bake perfect cakes.
Yep. So obviously you are the subject matter expert of your niche and your content. So, take these as a great guideline to get you started on a good title, and then make the rest of your video based on that, and chop off what you don't need. It's just a way to get you going, especially when you have the writer's block of titles. It's a great way to get you set up.
The tool dives deeper than this. You first of all, you can refresh if none of the ideas or none of the title formats are kind of hitting. But if you like one, you can hit generate, and it's going to start working for you and getting you all kinds of stuff so you can begin making your video. It's going to come up with an outline. It's going to come up with a title you can edit. It's going to tell you related keywords and score them for you so you can kind of determine, okay, maybe I could do better on the keywords in my title. You get a description, you get tags, you're going to get thumbnail examples, you're going to get a hook and an outline, and you can even generate a script from there. So this just, as long as you have vidIQ installed and you have, your account set up and linked and everything, you can really dive deep with this tool. And we want to dive a little bit deeper, and we wanted to also answer any questions you have about this tool or like the idea around remixing videos in general. Because I know that there will be times where this will be helpful to people, and there will be times when people will feel like I don't know if I need that today. Um, I'm going to throw it to you, Travis, because I've talked a lot. What would you say about when to use this tool?
Again, I think it's when you're well, there's a couple things. Like if you're just watching YouTube and you're not even thinking about creating content and you come across a video, you're like, I wonder, I mean, this is a great video and everything seemed to be really cool about it and a lot of people liked it. Is there something about this video that I could do in my own niche? It's a great tool for that. It's when you're watching something that's not necessarily connected to your niche, you can literally take the structure of an unrelated niche and make it something for your content. You'd be surprised at how well that works. Works for a lot of content creators. Things like broke versus pro, which is a thing you'll see, low versus high. You'll see all these things across different niches. The idea is exactly the same. No money, a lot of money. What wouldn't, in any particular case. So the remix tool will just help you understand the titling for those videos.
I think for me as well, like I would not use this for every video, but what I would say is that sometimes I have an idea and I'm like, that sounds so fun. And you should. That's where you should really start on YouTube is I want to do something that just sounds like fun or interesting, something you are genuinely passionate about. Something like this can help you find a way to pitch the title that has worked. And what's cool about it is it works for any video. So you can go into the cooking niche and see titles and title formats that have gone viral for channels, but maybe you're a gaming channel and you set up this challenge and you've been just struggling to figure out like I don't see any gaming videos that are doing things like this. Are there any other titles in any other niche? And maybe you follow some other channels that are using interesting titles and you can go, what would that look like if it was catered to my channel? What would that look like if I tried to reformat it for my video? I know titling can be really hard. It can be intimidating at times because people are worried if I put the wrong word in my title, is it going to like make the video flop? And I don't personally believe that, but I do think if it's harder to read, if humans are having trouble like deciphering it, then yeah, it can be a little bit tough. So I think it can be a really really nice guide for especially like just helping you take an idea and package it in a way that reaches a broader audience if you were kind of struggling in that department.
Yeah, I
Uh,
agree.
but I certainly wouldn't use this tool if you are like Travis said earlier, like having an idea to back up, like, or yeah, having a video idea to back up what you're trying to do is always a good place to start. If you are just completely, if the well is empty and you're like, I don't know, and you're just clicking the remix tool, you're like, no, no, and you're not even like in a place where you have a video ready. That's I don't think this is going to necessarily help with that. I think if you're in that mode, it's probably time to take a break and
Yeah,
just
you
chill.
know what? We did an actual video about when you shouldn't upload on YouTube, and it's on the vidIQ channel if you check it out. And this sounds like one of those instances where you shouldn't upload. There are instances where you should not upload to YouTube. Check out the video; it's here on the vidIQ channel.
Mhm. So that is our quick presentation of the Remix tool. We have some extra time with you today. Hit us up with your questions. We have some pre-selected here, but as you ask your questions, maybe let's make it easy. Put hashtag question in front of your question. We have Victoria in the background. She'll grab those and set them aside for us. And while you come up with your questions, we will throw some up on the screen from Discord that were sent in earlier. So let's bring that back up. I know someone was saying it was difficult to read the screen earlier. I think this is large enough. I can zoom in a little bit more.
Oh, that's good. That looks pretty big.
So this question is, when I get my first viral video, should I stick with the same genre slash video type that is in the viral video or try to expand out early on to try not to be a one trick pony?
You know what's funny about this is we were Jen and I were talking about on the podcast, Tube Talk that you can uh, check out either on any audio podcast platform or the Boost on vidIQ here on YouTube. And we were actually talking about like, should we talk about what happens when you have a viral hit? Like, what should you do next? Because what's interesting is it happens to a lot of channels. Viral is being relative, right?
Yeah.
And the question we get whenever someone has one of those hits is like, what do I do next? And it is a good question, but I also wonder how many people have really want to know the answer. So we haven't made a video on it. So to answer it here makes more sense. Um, I definitely have thoughts, but I'd be curious to hear what you have to say about it.
I think it there's this fear of starting on YouTube and being like, I don't want to be a one trick pony. I don't want to be in a little box. And I'll give you an example. I have friends that find themselves in this position, and I've found myself in this position. So I'll give you some examples. Like I had a friend that was covering one game, and they covered this game as long as they could, and it blew up their channel. They were able to, like, make a living covering this game. But eventually, like many games, it kinda died off because people move on. And so it was popular, but it wasn't popular like Minecraft, where it's, like, kind of this endless well of content and updates. Eventually, it just kind of, like, tapered off. And it caused them to basically have to like, they felt like, "I'm just gonna start a new channel because eventually this game will have a sequel, and I'll just come back to it on this channel." And so they've been branching out in their own way. Like, that did box them in, though. They became a creator who was focused on and a creator for a specific thing, and they attached their entire channel identity and their own identity, in a sense, their YouTube identity, to this one thing, making them completely codependent on its success. And I would say if you don't want to be in that position, there's nothing necessarily wrong with being in that position. You just have to be ready for this moment of when it dies down. If you don't want to be in that position, you need to make content in a way that, like, works for you and your personality, and you need to base it more off of a broader audience. Like, okay, you, instead of being the news person for this game, you can be the person who is just like everybody else, a fan of this game and a fan of games like it. And then you can kind of maybe think, all right, so I can cover the news for this, but maybe to branch out early, I can also do news for a similar game. So now you're doing news for a couple different games, and then you branch out slowly in a way that makes sense. So when I see comments like this, I'm just worried when people are going to be like, okay, my dog video went viral, but I don't want to be a one trick pony, so I'm going to do a video where I fix a car. And it has to make sense because you're trying to build an audience of similar minded people and similar interests. And so you want to make sure there's like some shared interest there between you and your viewers. It's a really long way of saying that.
Yeah, uh, definitely. If you have something that works and it's within your niche and something you're passionate about, do more of it. I mean, that's what you're supposed to do. But my biggest caveat with all of this is if you created a video that's outside of your niche and something you're not really passionate about and it blows up, and this happens so often to smaller channels, don't do another one. And really, you shouldn't have done the first one in the first place, because what you'll find is, and I've unfortunately had to talk to and help a lot of creators in this situation. They'll do a video that's outside of their niche, it blows up for some reason, and now everything else they do just gets squashed. And the only thing that works is this one thing that they did this one time that they don't even want to be doing anymore. It's really, every time you upload a video on your channel, you should know in your heart and in your mind that if this video blows up, I need to do more of this type of video. Is that going to be okay with me? Am I going to like doing more of this type of video? And if the answer is yes, then go for it.
We have a video about this coming up really soon, based on someone's similar experience. And I just did see that question about what classifies as viral these days.
Mm,
I'll give you like the two examples. In this case, this creator is using the word viral in quotes. We do this a lot where we say, "Oh, you had a viral moment." When we're saying that, what we're really saying is, "Oh, this channel usually gets 20 views per video, but this was a viral moment for them because they had 5,000 views on this video."
mm.
We know it's not literally viral because, in my opinion, the definition of viral is, I don't I could just look up a dictionary and just find this, but like, I think the way I classify viral in my head is everyone knows, like, everyone's talking about it. Like,
Yeah.
your parents know about it. Like, it went super viral, and everyone, like the Will Smith slap moment, like that kind of stuff is like, those are real viral moments. But we like to use the word here in the context of like, your channel was here and suddenly there's a spike, and so that's a viral moment for you.
Yeah, totally agree.
Next question we have set aside here: how much variety is Oh, the
Mm.
I'm tripping on that word, content when starting out is too much variety.
How much content is what? Just enough content? Wait. How much variety is? Why are we being given this question? We have no idea what this is. What language is this?
W
What does this mean? What? Why? Is this from Victoria? Victoria, I need you to tell us what this means. Since we can't read it, you picked it. You obviously knew what they said. Look, they posted it in December. Look at that. They're in the future and they're talking future talk. We can't read future talk,
Yeah,
Victoria. So tell us what they mean.
this word hasn't been invented yet.
Hasn't been. It'll be invented in November. So we still got 2 months before we can read this. I'm going to need you to explain this to me.
All right, we'll come back to that if, we ever learn what it means.
All right.
Sorry about that. And then
Yeah.
what are best practices gaming channels such non-gaming channels should adopt early on? So, all channels?
Mm,
Um,
mm,
but maybe they would like to have, like, that split. I would say try to I know I literally make videos sometimes that cater specifically to gaming channels. That's not because I believe gaming channels have, like, a different lane that they need to be in necessarily, and there's a whole different set of strategies and rules for them. It's because we have a lot of people out there who search specifically for gaming channels because they believe that there's a certain lane for them to be in. So
yeah.
we cater to them. That's one trick there. But we'll just give more general tips here, I think, about, like, where what should channels adopt early on? What are some best practices? I definitely have some. We'll start with, you though, Travis.
Yeah, I mean, again, like audio, believe it or not, is so important. Getting good audio is such an easy thing. It's like $20 to get a good lav mic. If you're on a phone, typically it does good enough. But just be aware your audio needs to be on point, and it's not expensive to do. Um, Getting to the point, especially when you're a newer channel, is going to be very helpful. Not straying off topic when you're in the middle of a video, or especially at the beginning of a video. I saw a video the other day where the whole first like 40 seconds of it was talking about, well, I haven't been here for a while. Bro, I saw this 2 years after you uploaded it. You've been around. I'm just trying to get into the video of this thing that you know what I mean? Like it's irrelevant for 90% of the people that watch this video. So get to the point is another one. And have a bucket strategy if you can. We talk a little bit about that here, and it's kind of a more in-depth thing, which is different subjects you can kind of go back to over and over again within the channel. I'm not going to go too deep into it. We could be sitting here for an hour talking about that,
Yeah.
but those are three great things to know.
I I would say that it's super important to adopt just good mental health hygiene early on. And when I put it the way what I'm trying to say is that you should treat yourself really, really well outside of YouTube. You should be doing things that are not YouTube related, and you should adopt these practices early on. Identify the things, the differences between this is what I do on YouTube and this is what I do to take a break from YouTube. Some people tell me, "Oh, well, YouTube is how I take a break because I have school or work or whatever." And I relate to that fully, but I know it's very, very easy to burn out because YouTube can very easily feel like a job. It's still there's a fun part to it, but then there's also work inevitably that goes with it. Like the
Yeah,
fun thing is the part you're recording the video, you're doing your favorite thing, the thing you enjoy. After the camera turns off, now you have to edit. Now you have to be thinking about, "Oh, I didn't have a thumbnail in mind for this one. I gotta come up with a thumbnail. I need to come up with a title." Uh, Before your video, maybe you're scripting it. So, it is work. Like, it's a lot of work, and I think when people use YouTube as, like, their sole hobby, that is the way they take a break, you're just kind of, like, getting off your day job, coming home, and then working again. So, appreciate that YouTube, as fun as it can be, is also work, and you need to do things that separate you from, that that grind, right?
mm,
Um, that's like my biggest piece of advice and something I didn't do early on because I started out gaming and gaming was my way to unwind. And then it was like, well, if I'm going to play a game, I might as well record the game. And then
yeah,
I ran myself out of hobbies to disconnect. And now I'm
yep,
like forcing myself to do things that have nothing to do with YouTube and it recharges my creative battery. And I feel so, so much better. And it's so much easier to create and be creative when you just have like good mental health practices.
yeah. Totally agree. Just don't burn yourself out. I think we got the answer to what that last question was. Everyone deciphered it for us.
Oh, what was it?
So that word was your apparently. So basically, they're a new channel. They're just trying to figure out how much variety is too much variety. When you first, well, I think when you first start out, there's really no such thing. Like if you don't really know what you want to do, That's different than, I want to make a channel about this, but let me just try all this other stuff. That's different. I feel like if you know what you're wanting your channel to be about, just do that thing and experiment within that niche.
Mhm.
If you just are not sure, and especially you're just starting out, just try things that you want to do more of. Again, don't just do something because you think it's going to hit and then you're not interested in that subject anymore. That's not how it works. At least not on YouTube. Try things that you're interested in that you can make a whole channel about and you can get over again for years, because that's what it takes. And then when something hits off, take it from there.
I'll give you an example of, and again, I know it's annoying because I give a lot of gaming examples, but this channel is a variety gaming channel on the surface. Like if you just look at the videos, you're like, wow, that channel plays a lot of games. What a variety. They're getting so many views. How do they do that? It's the way they play the games. And there is a similarity between these games. There are games where you have a lot of like options to kind of customize it in a certain way. Like you build stuff in these games. There's simulators. There, so it's not like this channel is going to play Mario, right? It's more along the lines of games that have that have that customization ability to them. However, the biggest thing about this channel is that they break games. You can see by the thumbnails in a lot of cases, they're trying to actively ruin these games, and people follow this creator because they want that chaos. So they don't necessarily care what the creator is playing, it's how they're playing it. That's how you can like be successful in the variety space. This is just one example of like what does variety look like while also somehow being consistent and building a consistent audience. Make it about like like zoom out a little bit and like what's the through line for all of my videos. And for this creator, it's, well, I break the games. That's my through line. So it doesn't matter what game I play. You're not here for that. You're not I
Right.
the game is no longer the star of the video. The creator is.
That's the
And
tricky part.
that is the tricky part. It's these ideas are, you know, it's such a simple idea, but then at the same time, it's also difficult to find yourself in that sweet spot, and be patient with yourself when you're trying to like figure this out for yourself. It's okay if this is not like something that comes to you overnight.
Cool.
All right. So we have a lot of questions. I got to get rid of the screen. We have a lot of questions that have come in that you guys have sent us from the chat. Thank you so much. We're going to look into some of those now, which are, I just have to get my chat back up. We're using a new tool, and it's been fun to learn all the different buttons. Okay. First question here. Dan or Travis, any idea why when hype and communities are coming out? These are new updates.
Mm.
Short answer is no. We They
I
roll
don't
this
know.
stuff
Did
out
they,
kinda
did
slowly.
they say the rollout schedule? A lot of times, what YouTube does is they'll give a general timeline for when everyone will probably have it, and before that, they roll it out in waves. This is the way they do just about every single feature. You'll start hearing about people having it, and everyone will go, "Well, I don't have it yet. Well, I don't have it." Well, it's because they do it in waves. And the reason they do that is if they roll it out to a small group of people and something breaks or it has a bad experience, they can pull it back without having to the entire platform and ruining everything.
Yeah.
So they typically announce these things months in advance. Every once in a while, they'll do it a couple weeks in advance, but mostly you hear about it months in advance, and just over the next couple of months, we'll see it. It was the same thing with like the lower monetization things and all these things. They always announce it months in advance, and then it comes over time.
Yeah.
It'll come.
I think the last I heard was sometime early next year. I know they're rolling this stuff out slowly. There is one thing I'll say, like the reason why it can be like this is because imagine they rolled out communities to every single channel tonight.
Oh, I
I mean,
want that though.
I want it really bad, but
Yeah.
they do that, and, like, communities are in particular interesting because they are so kinda dangerous, like, we don't know what people are gonna
Yeah.
put in there, and moderations can be interesting, so YouTube has to roll that out slowly, otherwise they could have another adpocalypse on their hands where, "Oh, YouTube rolled out this new feature overnight, and it immediately got spammed with all kind of NSFW content and all this other stuff, and it was a moderation disaster." So, this stuff has to, especially this communities update, it has to be rolled out slowly and carefully just to make sure that it's, as buttoned up as possible.
Well, I mean, we already have comments, so we already have that aspect. But in
Yeah.
communities, can posters post pictures?
Yeah, they can post pictures and
Oh,
stuff. Yeah.
that is a nightmare waiting to happen. I don't know why they allow that. That's crazy. I think they should just allow gifs and be done with it. Like allow
It
gifs and replies and comments, and then we're good.
I would be fine with that. I think the picture thing is interesting because you can do a lot with it, but, they're probably gonna need to lean on, like, Discord and stuff to determine how Discord has been moderating this for so long, because Discord has had to, like, put a lot of systems in place for that kinda content, And I do think there will be some moderation headaches, but that's why I'm glad they're taking their time, because we should get a feature out of this that is, like, solid and as good as it can be, right?
Yes. You don't want half-baked YouTube stuff, trust me. I've seen
Yeah.
it. You don't want it.
Next question. How can I gain views, likes, and subscribers from the community page?
Interesting. I never had this question. It's very specific. It's like the community page. I To be honest, I don't know if there's a real strategy behind this other than to say the more that you show up on someone's feed, whether it be through videos or community things, the more chances there are to have people subscribe. As far as like likes, that's pretty obvious. Like if you put out content that people are really behind and really enjoy, and no matter if it's a video, short, or community page, people will hit like. That's just a thing. But the subscriber thing is a really funny question because there is an analytic that shows you that you like even vidIQ, we get subscribers from the community page. But my guess is much like anything else, most people have to be exposed to something multiple times before they'll subscribe to it. I know that I can't remember the last time I subscribed to a channel. It's been quite a while. But I watch stuff from the same channels over and over and over again, even though I'm not subscribed to them. Typically, it'll come when they say, "Oh, don't forget to subscribe" or something like that, or I'll just think, "Oh, I don't want to miss their next video. Oh, yeah, I better subscribe." So I don't know if there's a specific strategy we can give you, but it's a really interesting question. I mean, maybe there is a strategy behind that.
I mean, all I would say is if you're using the community tab specifically for gaining subscribers, I would challenge you to change your frame of mind and use it for building a community. Um, and I'm not saying that because, well, the word community is in it. I'm saying literally, like, ask your audience questions about your shared interest. If your channel is about baking, ask them about their favorite recipes, do polls, things like that. Because what you're going to do is you're going to show up more and more in their feed when they're on their phone and things like that. And I think that makes them more likely to subscribe in the long run because you seem well rounded. Like you're asking them questions, you're giving good content, all that stuff. So I like making the community tab part of my strategy, but I'm not expecting subscribers from it. I am
Yeah,
expecting to just have a stronger connection. I don't use it to say I'm live or I posted a new video because who cares? Like ask them about them. There's a reason you're making content. It's for a specific type of person. So dig into the types of things that audience would like to talk about outside of your YouTube comments and use it that way.
yeah, I love it.
What do you think are the best and most important info you should know about?
To make better
Oh, you
script
should know
for
to make
you.
a better script for your video to have a better reaction or
Retention.
retention. Sorry.
Uh, this is another good, these are funny because we get these deep questions on the boost slash tube talk. And my mind is usually ready for it.
Yeah.
I'm expecting a much easier questions here this morning, and I'm still waking up. So I'm like, why are people asking good questions today? Um, yeah, that's a good question. So I think every niche is a little different. If you're a how-to channel, you have to know that people just want the answer, and typically you're not trying to come back and watch more content. Not typically, it depends on the niche, but generally speaking, give me my answer and go. If you're an entertainment channel, that means you just got to be entertaining and re-engage the hook every so often. If you are a education channel, not just how to, but actual education, you got to keep bringing the information kind of strong every so often. Again, another re-engagement thing. So every niche is a little bit different. I don't script anything that I do, so I'm a little probably not the best person to ask for this. But generally speaking, the information is very niche dependent. There are niches that I mean, you can just watch paint dry and you don't need a script for that. It just works. People just watch that stuff. You know what really works and has no script, generally speaking, is those satisfying channels where they like cut things and you're sitting there watching them for like an hour, like, oh my God, they're cutting this soap. I can't stop watching it. No script needed.
Yeah. Scripting is interesting. I've been reading off scripts for a while now, and I am using the scripts more and more as a guide rather than a verbatim kind of like rule. And it depends. Some creators can get away with reading and it doesn't feel like they sound like they're reading. But maybe other viewers don't notice it. I notice it. If I'm reading a script, I notice I'm reading a script if I'm watching it back. So I've been using it more and more as a guide to the point where I'm saying like, okay, instead of a script, I want bullet points, and I want to just speak more off the dome because one, it helps me add my own kind of like take to it in the moment. It becomes like a more organic discussion, kind of like a live stream. And two, it's still nice to have something to kind of keep me on the rails, so to speak. I think what makes a good script and when it comes to retention is also just the order in which you present things. Like you kind of create like a narrative and a story. It also is an opportunity. If you're writing a script, that means you're preparing ahead of time to add a B plot to your video to try and round it out even more and do more things and add more storytelling elements to it because that is what's going to help with retention is like storytelling at the end of the day. So if you're scripting, even if it's just bullet points, you're in a really good place either way because it really helps you kind of plan ahead of time. And we talked to a lot of creators who are just like, I just like turning on the camera, which many creators can be successful doing that. But sometimes it helps, especially certain creators, like to have some kind of rails in place so you don't jump too far off.
Yeah, I tip if I feel like I have a subject I want to get to, but I'm worried about falling off the rails, so I'll do an outline. I'll just have bullet points. Make sure you hit this, talk about this. Make sure you do this,
Yeah.
talk about this,
But yeah, I
and that works
appreciate the
for me.
order
Yeah.
they're in too.
Yep. Yep.
I didn't mean to
What's
interrupt you.
next? Man, we got lots of questions coming. My goodness gracious! I was looking at chat and it's like, there's some good stuff going on.
Yeah. Can you use the remix feature somehow on your phone, or does it have to be through
Mm,
PC? I'm
that's a
trying to
good
remember
question.
if this is a mobile functionality or not. It's definitely on PC. If you have the app, you
How
can certainly look
how would
around.
it work though? I
It
don't think it. Well, wait.
Yeah,
So it wouldn't be on the YouTube channel. So like you couldn't find because we're not integrated into the YouTube app, right? So that doesn't work. But is there a part in the other app where you can put in a title and then remix it there?
you can definitely generate ideas, and you could go from that perspective, so it's not the remix feature. The remix feature works because you're on YouTube itself, and you're
Correct.
remixing ideas you're seeing, but the vidIQ app doesn't have a browser to browse videos,
Correct.
it shows your channel, so no, it wouldn't work the same way, but you could definitely use other tools in there for helping with titles and ideas and stuff like that.
There's tons of
Um,
I'm looking at it right now. Like there's so a lot of the stuff that's in the web app, the vidIQ.com when you log in is on there and you can come up with kind of the same ideas.
yeah, but thank you for the question.
Yeah.
Um, I keep getting a message from YouTube saying I have 2 accounts, and it isn't letting me get monetized. Help.
Two
Hmm,
accounts.
2 accounts.
Do you
So
mean
that
two AdSense accounts, two YouTube accounts, two
That sounds like
Gmail
2
accounts?
AdSense accounts, which you don't want. I would be looking through old emails and stuff, like, try to figure out if you accidentally set up an AdSense account at some point. AdSense might be the keyword you're missing, but yeah, you can also sometimes on, like, Twitter or Threads, YouTube, the community managers there are pretty responsive, so you could ask this question over there as well if we're off about AdSense.
Yeah,
Um,
always the answer always is ask YouTube.
yeah, how do you get
Something like this. Yeah.
How do you get Remix on vidIQ? So if you have vidIQ installed and you have it connected to your channel and everything, it should pop up when you have your cursor underneath the videos. If it's not popping up, try refreshing, try a different browser. Once in a while, it kind of glitches like that because new tool, we're working out the bugs. But it should be there when you put your cursor underneath a video on
And
like the homepage.
if it's still not working, email support@vidIQ.com and they can get you set up for sure.
Yeah.
Support@vidIQ.com.
Question. I have a vlogging channel for exploring, tours, haunts, etc. That sounds fun.
Yeah.
What's the best strategy to get more views and grow? You don't see videos explaining vlogging growth.
Yeah, that's true. Well, so there was for a while how to vlog like Casey Neistat, right? There was a bunch of those and like how I vlog like Casey, and that's actually and that's still on YouTube. I mean, that's kind of uh that's a good place to start. But vlogging is all about storytelling. So it's the same thing as anything else. It's like watching a random vlog where you're just walking down the aisles of Target may not be that interesting. But if like every time you bump into something you have to buy it, like that's kind of interesting. I'd watch that. Or if you're like if that particular portion of the vlog is really critical to the rest of the story of the vlog, then it's interesting. So as much about storytelling as anything. So we have a couple videos about storytelling, and then also there's the like look up 3 acts, the three I forget what they call it, the 3 act kind of principle of storytelling. That will definitely help you if you understand 3 acts of storytelling. Then that's a good way to start as well.
I'll just add like there's a channel I was watching for a bit where this person there's a bunch of these channels, but they live in Florida near Disney World, and so their content is regularly them going to Disney, and it is shot in a vlog style. They'll have their camera, they have, like, a clip-on microphone, and they're just walking around the park and talking to, like, the average person, but I'm watching because they're going for a specific reason, you know? They're like, "Disney has this new attraction," or they opened this new shop, or the shop just got updated with this new merch. I'm going to check it out, maybe we'll ride some rides as well. And a story naturally builds from there. They got me hooked because I'm like, "Oh, what's the new thing Disney's doing?" And now I'm just sitting there and watching them talk. So it's like a 30-minute vlog essentially, but I'm there still for a specific reason. I'm not watching because, "Oh, a vlogger." I'm watching because someone who happens to film in a vlog style is doing something specific. And so I only say this because it's like Travis said, it's like anything, storytelling, things like that. It's not about, "Oh, well, there's not a lot of advice out there for vlogging channels." It's just it comes right back to who's your channel for. What you vlogging is a style, in my opinion, of making content. Vlogging is not a niche. You know, the person going to Disney, their niche is theme parks. That's their niche. They happen to do it in a vlogging style. So that's just kind of like where I'm at with this question.
Yeah.
How do you increase your impressions on videos? My understanding is impressions lead to views. So is there a way to improve that outside of thumbnails and titles?
It's a really good question, especially if you're trying to understand the concept of what impressions are. So, my understanding is impressions lead to views. I mean, that's not exactly the relationship. Impressions are a thing. It's whenever your thumbnail is shown to something. So technically, views come through that, but I think the wording's just throwing me. But yeah, I mean, you need to get more impressions to get views because otherwise, people aren't seeing your thumbnail. You can't get views. There are a couple ways to do this. The best way is to have a topic that people are already watching slash searching for. If you make a video about something that people are not currently watching, then it is harder for YouTube to figure out who would be interested in watching that content because that's ultimately what an impression is. It's YouTube putting your thumbnail out against other thumbnails saying to this particular viewer, hey, you might like this based on your watch history, which is one of the main things that YouTube uses to figure out what type of videos to promote to a particular user. If you're doing something brand new and it has no context and no one's watching content about that, because YouTube does have a pretty good idea of what your video is about, more or less, then it's going to be it's going to have a hard time having a lot of impressions. Thus, your chances of getting views are harder. So you also, of course, want to make the most out of every impression, which means having a good thumbnail and title so people will click. So your click through rate goes up. So then YouTube can see, oh, okay, well, people like this when they're shown this particular type of video. So that's kind of one way to do it. There's no other like real way to do it other than to just be aware of what people are watching in your niche and what's kind of popular. And in the extreme case, doing some crossover things where maybe you try a thing that works in another niche. So we were just talking about the remix in another niche in your niche and see if it connects just because the idea itself is good.
Mhm. Next question. Do you think there are any serious competition to YouTube right now?
Depends on what you
Um,
mean.
like serious competition in terms of video platforms is what I assume they're saying. Uh, Twitch and TikTok are the obvious ones to me. Twitch for live streaming, TikTok for, short form. But yeah, not really. Um, which is interesting and a little bit scary because
Yeah.
competition, I think the competition that TikTok has offered YouTube and Twitch to a degree have improved YouTube. I think YouTube has had to respond to a lot of this stuff, and whether or not you like shorts, it's irrelevant because they managed to capture an even wider audience and an even larger variety of creators. So I would say TikTok inevitably was just helpful to YouTube, and I like to see competition in this space, but there's just not a lot.
Yeah. I mean, it's difficult to say when you have a company like Google behind it and the fact that Google is the biggest search engine and you got YouTube the second biggest search engine and nothing can compete with that aspect alone. And it's just, YouTube's been around for so long, it's just ingrained in people. So
Yeah.
regardless of whether you think the platform is great or not, it's been around long enough that people know what it is and they're like, yeah, I'm gonna go to YouTube and look up how to do this thing. It's just a thing. It's just a thing that happens.
Yeah. I'm not happy with my current video style and I want to change it,
Hmm,
but I don't get the same results. Do I go back to the old style or wait for the new one to gain traction over time?
that's a good question.
Mm.
So it depends. You said you're not happy with your current video style, so why would you go back to it? I think all that does is lead you down a road of being burned out on YouTube.
Yeah.
That's where it is. Um, when you change your style, it's going to take a while for it to catch on. And as a matter of fact, we have a video that's coming, and Dan, you got to tell me if it's coming out this Thursday or in a week or so.
Mm.
Um, where we took a creator, a small creator who had a channel that was more or less dead, then went through the program that we have here at vidIQ, and now they're crushing it, which is great. But it was one of the things, like you do things and they don't necessarily take off right off the bat, and you're like, "Am I doing? Is this wrong?" No, it's the audience that you have now. It's not necessarily the audience you will have in the future, and you just got to continue to create for that new audience that you currently don't have. And if you're more happy doing that, you should just continue doing that, because if you're already not happy, you just basically have a lower paying job, which is not good. You don't want a low paying job you don't like. You can get that anywhere. Like, you can literally not do YouTube for that. I think you should just do something you really love and are passionate about, and you think and you're proud of. Even if it gets less views now, in the future, that could definitely change.
Yeah. Question: would you recommend live streaming to grow your channel? I wouldn't say live streaming alone to grow. I think live streaming can be a part of the puzzle. Typically, people ask me, "How do I grow my live stream?" They want more viewers while they're
Mm.
live, and I would say, "Grow your YouTube channel, grow TikTok, grow Instagram Reels." Like, post clips of your streams and stuff, and make it look really fun, and make sure there's a lot of context. So if I wasn't at the stream, I still understand the clip and all that stuff. So growing live streams is a matter of growing on other platforms, whether you're on Twitch or YouTube. In my opinion, you need to have an audience if you want that stream to, have more success. Using live streams to grow it's not like they can't help. It's just that live streams, they are kind of like you had to be there in most cases. What I would say is that with these live streams, what we're doing is we are trying, this is why we're not doing like what we were doing before with channel reviews. We're trying something different where we talk about a specific topic and then we answer some questions to interact with our audience. This video could live on in search and discovery, or it could show up in a recommended feed somewhere, because we very intentionally put a title, put a thumbnail, and had a topic behind it that could be enjoyed whether you were here or not. So it is just about like intent in that sense. And then for, while you're live, be thinking about like, what's my goal during my stream? If you're a gaming channel, it's like, okay, I could just say, oh, I'm live playing Minecraft. But what if you're trying to reach a certain goal? That could be the title and thumbnail. And people could show up for that. If it's like, wow, they're doing this big Minecraft challenge, I want to go see that. So yeah, it's a bit of I would say with live streaming, the best thing is like having the two formats of content feed into each other. Uh, but yeah, I don't know. It's a bit complicated, and it depends on what you're doing and all that stuff. Chris's NYC hot dog stands and more. That sounds like a fun channel. Uh, I have I had a bad mic once, and a viewer commented, "Invest in your brand." It hit me hard, so I spent some more money on a much better mic. I feel like my videos immediately got better. The views went up.
Love that.
Nice.
That's
That
I mean, that's where we were talking about audio earlier. I think that's a great instance where it's easy to overlook, but from the viewer's perspective, viewer's experience is very frustrating if you can't hear it. People will put up with less good video quality than they will less less good audio quality. So that's I love that.
yeah. Is uploading one video per month too long, or should I upload more than one video per month?
I
Kind of up
think
to
it'd be
you.
too few. It's one too. Listen, here's the thing. It's a numbers game at that point. You are basically hindering you're hinging your success on 12 videos a year if you do it once a month, right? So in other words, all of your growth for an entire year, you're saying these 12 videos are going to give me the amount of subscribers and views that I'm going to be happy with after a year. A year. Think about that. The chances of think of how many videos you have in the other creators who do, 2 or 3 videos a month. How many videos were bombs out of 12 videos? Probably you probably have at least 12 videos that were bombs. What if all 12 of your videos were bombs and they didn't go anywhere?
Mm.
You've hinged your entire growth of a year on 12. If you can do more, do more. If you can't, it is what it is. Like if you just can't do it, don't feel like, oh man, I'm never gonna be able to make it because I got a full-time job. Listen, I get it. Do what you can do. But it's a numbers game at that point. If you think you can get the growth that you'll be happy with after a year on 12 videos, then just do one a month.
I always say that, yeah, do what you can. Like if you're forcing yourself to do one a week and it's just too much,
Yeah.
then they're probably not gonna be very good quality, and then they're risking more bombs. But if you're using that time wisely and you are really putting a lot of work in and you've done your research and you feel like this video is going to do all right, you're willing to take the risk on it. Because yeah, the longer it takes to make a video, the bigger the risk. You know, you could have wasted all that time. That's how it'll feel anyway. Some of my favorite channels upload once every couple months. So it can be done, but I would say it's just a matter of your own goals and how much time you have in your regular day to day life. That really is what it comes down to. More videos is more shots of the target, but you have to balance that with like the quality of those videos at a certain point. You can certainly upload every day with hardly any editing and barely any like work on thumbnails and stuff. But yeah, you've taken a lot of shots at the target, but were they really good quality shots? So it is a balancing act, and it really is different for every single person. But I wouldn't
Yeah.
say algorithmically, this is the perfect amount of videos to upload. It's really not. To me, it's not about that.
Yeah. No, it is what it is. If you can only do one a month, just do the one a month you can do. You can only do what you can do. I think it's a bad thing to put other aspects of your life that might be more important on hold, or sacrifice things to try to go after YouTube when you're not quite set yet. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think it's a good idea. I think you need to be really responsible for your life, and if you can do it once a month, you can do it once a week, great, that's cool. If you can't, that's all right. It is what it is. There's no like, oh, just because you can only do one every other month doesn't mean you're ever going to grow. That's not true at all. I'm not saying that at all. It might take longer, but it can still happen. So just do what you can do.
How do you stay positive and creative when your sub count and watch time plateau?
Yeah, that's a good one. That's like a mental health thing.
Yeah, it's difficult. Definitely, if you're wrapping yourself up in that, it's difficult. I've had bouts. I've been the person to say maybe try and detach a bit from your analytics and stuff. You did your research and everything up front. You posted your video. That you did everything you can. Unless you have a spark of motivation to like change the title or the thumbnail, there's not much you can do. You need to move on for the health of you and your channel and everything. So, it's easier said than done 'cause knowing that, I still run into this where I'm like, "Wow, the last 3 videos I did just didn't perform. That really sucks. I feel terrible." Uh, and when you feel terrible, you don't make good content. So, this comes back to what I was saying earlier about unplugging from YouTube, finding things to do that are not videos. Maybe get off the internet entirely for a bit, go hiking or something. Like, just try to clear your head and develop good mental health practices that don't all have to do with YouTube. Try not to attach so much of yourself to your YouTube channel, like, which is again, I'm saying this from very personal place, like, it's easier said than done, but that is kinda how it has to be handled.
Yeah, we have. I think it's important to very early on separate, even though you're spending a lot of time and effort and it's your passion, and to separate the content you've created from your own personal well-being and worth is difficult, but it's absolutely necessary. And the first time you will be tested on that one is when you get your first hater comment. That's going to be your first test. You will probably fail that first test, and very likely because you're not used to. Most people aren't used to that. Like, random people on the internet telling you that you're terrible at something is kind of new for most people. But you'll don't worry, the test will come again. You will continue to get tested until you either pass it or you completely fail, and you're like, I can't do this anymore. So, separating your self worth from that very early on is absolutely critical.
Should I watch lots of competition from competitors for YouTube to show my content to those viewers? Well, okay, wait a minute. Should I watch lots of competition from competitors for YouTube to show my content to those viewers?
Oh, they think that by watching by watching other people's content, it's going to show their content. No, they're unrelated.
Yeah.
They're
That's
unrelated.
there's 2 different algorithms at play there. There's one for you as a viewer, and it's
Right.
trying to recommend you content that you like, and then there's a separate one for your audience, the content that you upload. There's no way to manipulate that. Um, but if you wanna watch content for your competitors to try and learn from them and like, "Oh, interesting, they title their videos a bit differently than I do, and they seem to get some views, maybe I can kinda take some notes." That could be healthy to a degree. Don't compare yourself to other people as which again, hard not to sometimes, but yeah, that's the only way I think you're gonna find that helpful is, like, if you're going in there with, like, a learning cap on rather than, like, "Ooh, I'm gonna trick the algorithm," kinda thing. I subscribe to vidIQ, however, the events page does not list this live stream or channel audit lives. What is the best method to get notified and or sign up for these notifications?
So it's YouTube notifications, but I did pass this along to one of the people at our company about maybe making the events page show some of this stuff. But currently, just hit subscribe and the notification bell here on YouTube.
Yeah.
But it's a good piece of feedback. So I've passed it along already.
Thank you. And then any tips on reviving dead monetized channels?
So interesting. We already are talking about. I think I've shot 2 videos about that. So they're coming to this channel. I
Yeah.
don't want to give it away. Well, yeah, it's too in depth to kind of go here. But literally, there's a couple videos. One again, it's the same one, Dan. With we're waiting to hear back from coaching. That one kind of goes over like what this person did to kind of revitalize in their words, pretty much dead channel. Um, but the other thing is like there's a lot of this is such a deep question. We can't get it. There's no way we can answer this in like 5 minutes. But
Yeah.
just keep an eye here on the vidIQ channel. That video is coming very soon.
Yeah, we can spit out some general tips, but there's been
Yeah.
like a lot of in-depth work we've done on this very subject.
Yeah, it's a lot hard. Well, it's not necessarily hard. The thing is, put out good content. I mean, that's like the quick answer. The quick and dirty answer is put out good content, and then it'll
Yeah.
revitalize it.
I
But yeah,
I'll say this, if you need the encouragement right here, right now, no channel, in my opinion, is cursed. Unless YouTube
right,
has a notification in your dashboard saying like, "Oh, hey, you broke community guidelines," or something like that, and we're restricting your content. As long as
right,
that's not happening, there's no curse upon your channel. You can absolutely come back. Don't expect the same exact viewers. Maybe some will
right,
come back.
right.
And just start making good content again. Don't worry about any of the other stuff. I wouldn't even unless you're pivoting real hard and you're just can't take it. I wouldn't even unlist the older videos. I would just hit the gas again. Hey, I'm back. And like no big announcement. Just make your next awesome video. All right. Thank you for all of your questions. I know we spent more time on Q&A than usual, but yeah, wanted to give back a little bit. So thanks everybody. It's been awesome. Um, any other announcements or anything?
Check out the boost. Vicky, if you could put the boost by vidIQ on here for people that are like really obsessed with YouTube and learning how to grow and stuff. We have a podcast, YouTube channels here. Plus, it's on audio, all the audio platforms that are out there, and we do take questions from email and text messages, and we read them on the air. So check those out. I think she'll put it in chat, and that's it.
All right. Thanks everybody. We will see you